This is the story of the elves and the shoemaker. Once upon a time, there was a kind shoemaker and his wife. Although the shoemaker worked very hard, they were still very poor. One day, the shoemaker's wife said, "We have no more food to eat. You will need to make more shoes to sell." "I have only enough leather to make one more pair of shoes," the shoemaker replied sadly. The shoemaker cut out the leather for the shoes, ready to make them the next day, and went to bed. The next morning, the shoemaker and his wife came downstairs to find the shoes had already been made. The shoes were beautiful. The shoemaker put them in the window of his shop, and no sooner had he done so than a woman walked into the shop. "I must have these shoes. They are beautiful," said the woman, and gave the shoemaker twice the price for the shoes. The shoemaker and his wife were delighted. They bought some food to eat and still had enough money for the leather to make 2 pairs of shoes. Once again, the shoemaker cut out the leather for the shoes, ready to make them the next day, and went to bed. The next morning, the shoemaker and his wife came downstairs to find the 2 pairs of shoes had already been made. The shoes were beautiful. The shoemaker put them in the window of his shop, and no sooner had he done so than 2 women walked into the shop. "We must have these shoes," said the 2 women, and gave the shoemaker twice the price for each pair of shoes. The shoemaker and his wife were delighted. Once again, they bought some more food to eat, and still had enough money for the leather to make 4 pairs of shoes. This continued every night for many weeks. Every evening, the shoemaker would cut out and leave the leather on the table. And in the morning, the shoemaker and his wife would find the shoes already made. Soon, the shoemaker and his wife were very rich and very happy. "We must see who is making the shoes for us, so we can thank them," said the shoemaker's wife, and the shoemaker agreed. That night, the shoemaker and his wife hid in the cupboard so they could see who was making the beautiful shoes for them. Suddenly, 2 elves appeared. They quickly started work on making shoes from the leather, and when they finished, they disappeared. In the morning, the shoemaker said, "We must do something for the little elves who have helped us." "Perhaps I could sew them new clothes, as their old clothes are old and torn," replied the shoemaker's wife. "Yes," said the shoemaker, "and I can make them little shoes for their bare feet." So the shoemaker and his wife started to make the finest little clothes and shoes you have ever seen. When they finished, they laid their gifts on the table and hid in the cupboard. When the 2 elves appeared, they saw the gifts and were very happy. They put on their new clothes and shoes and began to dance, jump, and sing. The 2 elves then disappeared, and the shoemaker and his wife never saw them again. But the shoemaker and his wife would always be very grateful to the 2 elves. The end.